hospital, I noticed one of the nurses that I've been seeing for years in the outpatient surgical center. She come up, and she would come up to get somebody, and I noticed she looked very bad. I've never seen her look that bad. She just looked pitiful. And I didn't know whether she had, I mean, honestly, I said, has she got sick? What's wrong with her? I didn't say anything. I just prayed for her. And one of the people said to her, said, glad to have you back. She said, well, it's okay to be back. And she said, I think it's finally hitting me, and it's really hard. And I said to myself, what are they talking about? Something's wrong. Has she got cancer, or what's going on? And so, a few minutes later, somebody else calls me over and says, come here. I said, we need you to pray for that lady, that nurse. I said, what's wrong? Said 2 weeks ago, she was watching her husband cut the grass. And while he was cutting the grass, he stopped cutting the grass and went to get the mail. And he closed the mailbox, started walking to the house, and fell dead right on the ground. And said she ran out to him and did CPR for 20 minutes before they got some help. Said it didn't matter, he was gone. It was just a massive heart attack. But she couldn't get over the fact that she felt like she could have done more because she was a nurse. How could you do more if you do CPR within moments of the time of the heart attack? There's nothing else you can do. That's it. You call for help and do CPR. I've done it. I've done it many times. And when you do CPR, you're just doing CPR. You are helping them, their body get blood and oxygen while it's all going on. But again, I just heard him say she just still feels guilty. But there's nothing to feel guilty about. But again, it's like this child divorce. I may be the reason my parents are divorced. If I had done better, maybe my spouse might not have died. If I had done such and such, then this wouldn't have happened. So that's the wrong belief. The right belief is I'm not responsible for the actions of others. I'm not responsible if one of my people, I'm not responsible for my mother's death. I'm not responsible for my wife's death. There was a while there I felt responsibility for their death. Not anymore. The Lord helped me understand I'm not responsible. Each person is accountable to God. Each person has a road that they're there to take. And I understand that. I did the best I could for my mom. I did the best I could for my wife. And I refuse to feel guilty anymore because I did the best I could. And so I know. I stand before God that I did the best I could. Each of us, Romans 14:12, each of us will give an account to God of himself. That's a very powerful thought. Each of us will give an account to God for our own self. I like what the message says. So tend to your knitting. Get your hands full. You've got your hands full just taking care of your own life before God. Wow. So that's pretty cool. So
the husband or the ex.
You don't account for
anybody else. No,
the only person I have to account for is me. Me. Now, I may have to account on how I treat them. Now, I may have to account for that, how I treated somebody, but I'm not responsible for them. I'm responsible to God for how I may have treated them, and I may be responsible to give them an apology, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody that had a life-altering experience, a devastating event, a child of divorce, or now I'm throwing in there the death of somebody too. So number 3, and this is good stuff. This is awesome stuff. Number 3, and I kind of started not to put this in there, and then I changed my mind, or I believe the Lord changed my mind because I honestly started to leave it out. I got twin brothers, Larry and Gary. And so I thought about that a lot. I was thinking about my twin brothers. A multiple birth child, a twin or a triplet. Also a middle child. And if you're a middle child, you ain't got to raise your hand. But a middle child can suffer from the same thing that somebody from a double birth or triple birth or quadruplets can do. And that is feel lost in the shuffle. That's their own belief. I feel lost in the shuffle. Now, beside that, I want you to write self-esteem. There's a difference in self-worth and self-esteem. A big difference. Self-worth starts from the outside and works its way in. Self-esteem starts from the inside and works its way out. There's a difference. All right? Self-worth, I'm actually being bombarded by somebody making me feel bad. Now, I beat myself up. Nobody here's ever beat themselves up, have they?
No.
Have they?
So like the middle child, see, if the older child gets new clothes, the middle child gets to wear them out, and the next child gets new clothes again.
Well, see, but I was the oldest child. My mama called me guinea pig. And the problem was, many times I wore hand-me-downs from my cousin, and that was not cool, because my cousin was a girl. I remember the biggest fight I had with my mama. I was 5 years old. She was trying to take me somewhere, and she put on those pants I got from my cousin, and it zipped up the side. And I said, Mama, I can't go anywhere with these pants zipping up the side. And she said, get in that car, boy. I said, these ain't for a boy. I can't wear these pants. They zip up from the side. And she said, get in that car. I got a whipping. And I told her, I said, there are going to be problems if I got to go to the bathroom. Mama, I don't need pants zipping from the side. It's the last time I remember wearing them pants, but I didn't wear them again. But I got them pants from my cousin, who was a girl. All right. So.
I just got whipped into that.
Uncle Marvin come behind Aunt Mary. So when he was little, he even wore little dresses.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, there were some pictures of Uncle Marvin who was a little thing wearing dresses. I said, Daddy, what's Uncle Marvin doing wearing dresses? He said, he come behind Aunt Mary.
Was it on TV that boy, he went to the bathroom and he couldn't get his belt undone?
Oh, yeah.
We got problems.
Yeah, we got problems. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, so self-image, self-esteem, self-image. Actually, a middle child feels invisible. A middle child, or maybe a twin or a triplet, somebody feel invisible. You know, I didn't realize it until I got older that my brothers thought that my mama, they meant it, that I was mama's favorite. I didn't think I was. Marcia. That's right. Yeah, Marcia. I said, fellas, who got the most whippings? Who got popped the most? Who got in trouble the most? Who got away with more stuff? They did. They said they thought that I was her favorite. All right, but again, that's because here's the twins and what they were going through. Right belief. I am a unique creation of God. He knew me before I was born. For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. And I love this. We read this a little while back. I just can't resist reading this again. It's so awesome. He said, you did form my inward parts. You did knit me together in my mother's womb. Knit me together. Remember, if they're going to do any knitting, number one, you got to have a purpose. All right, we've all got a purpose. Number two, you got to have a pattern. If I got a purpose for you, I got to have a pattern for that purpose. And then number three, I got to have a plan. I got to have a way to put it all together so this will all work. And so God already knew us before we were born. So even the stuff happening to you right now, today, you may look at it and think, Lord, why in the world did that happen to me today? And later on you find out, man, I was in the right place at the right time. I didn't even know it. So here we are. You got a plan, you got a pattern, a purpose, and a plan. God's got this. Y'all say God's got this. That's self-esteem. Now, here we go again. A fatherless child, usually because of a death. Okay, usually because of a death. The wrong belief is I never had a real father who loved me and cared for me. It's in not only with the fatherless child, this can also be after a divorce. This can be an adult after a divorce. Right? Just a little different, but it's similar. Because you're right now beside it, abandoned or at a position of loss. I've had people come to me, when when we're in the middle of a whatever, it could be something, whatever it might be, a divorce, it could be a death of somebody. I hear them say, you know, I don't feel loved right now. I don't feel very cared for. And again, we got to go to Hebrews 13:5. I will not leave thee nor forsake thee. I'm going to take care of you emotionally. I'm going to take care of you physically. Amen. So the wrong belief is I never had a real father who loved me, cared for me. The right belief is God will be my helper, my defender, and my encourager. He is the father of the fatherless. That's what the Bible